Guys, I bought a time machine. Okay, guys. W124 Mercedes. Oh my god, the most aerodynamic brick ever. So recently I wanted a secondhand car, and I've always wanted a Mercedes AMG. Long story short, man, I was walking in my neighborhood with my girlfriend. That's this black Mercedes, dressed up, decked out like the AMG E500, the Hammer. And I would walk by and I would tell my girl, babe, I want this car, I want this car. I would go really close to it and like, I was like, oh my god, it smells like Mercedes leather inside. Turns out the owner is one of my friends. He was outside his house one day, talked to him, told me, hey man, take it for a drive. Drove it, fell in love with it. It is not an E500, but what the owner did was he bought the E500 from Japan and put all the body part and everything from the E500 into this car. Now the engine is E320, which is plenty enough, man. 200 plus horsepower and 4 gear, so it eats hella gas. Guys, it is amazing. I am so happy I bought this car, and today we're going to talk about the modification list I put into this car, from the exterior, interior, and what I did to make it feel safe and brand new, like it just came off of the factory in 2022. So let's talk about the safety first. For the safety, my dogs. Yeah, you guys want to see my dog? Guys, this is Goku, and all he does is sleep and eat, but he's cute as fuck. Okay, guys, safety first for the car, right? For any of you guys who buy a 30 years old car, Mercedes or whatever, anything that has a rubber component on the car, whether it'll be like your brake line, your the bearing, the cushion between your chassis, your suspension, any rubber component, your suspension, change it. I change it all. There's a weird thing about this Mercedes transmission is that it's like piece of like rubber in between the transmission in the middle of the car. We took it out. The old thing was about to rip. I'm glad I changed it. And the rest of that was any mount on the suspension, on the arms. I forget what it's called, the suspension arm, and on the chassis. Changed all that. So we did that. The whole entire thing cost a little bit, about $1,800 to $2,500. I forget the exact amount, but for that kind of money, do it for the safety, and now the car feel premium and brand new. Having said that, your car have no rust on the bottom, right? So that's what I did. Second thing I did was I checked the suspension. Suspension's fine, but I wanted it lower. So we went with Bustein suspension and an H&R spring. The reason I went with H&R is because I have H&R on my other cars and I love the way it feels. So that's pretty much like the footwork done. Now for the aesthetic outside. Originally it does have the Hammer wheel on it, but they're selling it for like $3,000-$4,000 on the net right now. So the original owner didn't sell that to me. I went and get a AMG ST2 rims. They're 8.5 in the front and the back. Reason being that is because I know what the fuck I was doing, and I didn't know there was a 9.5 to be in the back, but it's okay. I think it's fine. They're 18-inch. It's lowered. It looks amazing. Plus the AMG 1, AMG 2 body kit. I'm not sure. You guys call it AMG 1, right? Body kit that I have on my car. It's already hammered out. It looks amazing. So that's what I did. As far as the aesthetic, it looks beautiful. Now, I think this is the part where you guys have been waiting for, and I also believe that the interior of my car has been done like no other has done it in their Mercedes before. So the interior, going into it, I have the concept of making a modern time machine, and if Mercedes or AMG was to ask for my input into making this retro classic coming out of a factory line without changing too much, what would I do to the car to modernize it to feel like it just came out of factory line in 2022? That being said, there are a few things. There are the materials and the colors that I choose, and there are the ambient lighting that I choose for the car, plus the sound, right? So that's light, sound, and hearing makes up everything for your senses, pretty much, except the taste, unless you want to lick your steering. But yeah. So the first thing I did was to change the wood grain. Now, a lot of you guys would go with restoring the wood grain, which is amazing, but I don't want to feel like a grandpa going golfing. So I had an option of either restoring that, or I have an option of carbon fiber. Obviously, this car doesn't go with carbon fiber. Some guy did it on Pinterest. It's nice, but that's not a vibe for me. So I decided to go with piano black. My interior is dark blue already, so now it's looking really dark and kind of like Yakuza vibe inside, which is really cool. And in order to make it personalized and lighten up that Yakuza vibe, I did two things. One is I custom made a sticker of my brand. I'll put it right here, MVP Ambient. Number two is my other brand, no shame plug, guys. This is called Oreo Higari, means I am light. So Oreo Higari, I customized these stickers and I put it in there, and then I have a custom made wrap, a clear wrap, wrapped up my piano black grain again, so it's scratch proof, because I got this little guy wanting to go out with me to lunch all the time, so he doesn't scratch shit, right, Goku? Look at his face, man. How could you not love this? So I did that. But in order to lighten up those vibes and make it more modernized, now we come to ambient. Ambient is lighting. Now this Mercedes doesn't have a lot of lighting inside. There are window button, there are speaker, not even a speaker, but there are the aircon buttons, and there are the cluster button, the clusters. The cluster doesn't even have light. It just got two light on the top pointing to the cluster. Sorry, Mercedes, it's just not my vibe. I found the whole entire cluster like micron thin, but they're made out of plasma light. Installed that in my car. Now the whole cluster, speedometer, RPM, gas, lit up by itself. You can change it to two colors, which is cool white or kind of like green white. Obviously, I kept it on cool white, guys. I mean, so that's that. And then the rest of the car, I think on the aircon, there are T3 and T5 bulbs. So I went and changed it to cool white. Pretty much cool white. And on the aircon vent where you can slide the aircon up and down, I changed it to cool white as well. Now the entire thing matched, except the window button, because those are LED. I did find a guy who did know how to modify it, because he specialized in this. You guys will have to do your research, because I live in Thailand. Unless you want to send it here, search, or you can DM me and send it here. The guy deleted those light and made it cool white, so now the aesthetic of my car totally matched with the ambient and the color. Last but not least, obviously the seat has some cracks and whatnot on it, and you know, the dashboard. So I have a friend who is my business partner. He owns a car restoration shop, and I just told him, look man, make it brand new, whether you have to change the leather or restore it. He made it brand new, came out looking amazing. The last touch I did to the inside of the car was the door panel on the side. The leather that's kind of wrinkly, it looks kind of like a nut sack, and I didn't like that. And then the roof line looked like a plastic from like some old school shoe, like really cheap $20 shoe you get from Walmart, or like an umbrella. So I didn't like that. And in order to change that, you can either stretch out the leather, make it straight on the side of the door, or get the old upholstery from Mercedes, which costs over $3,000, and it was going to be so hard to order because I don't own a Mercedes dealership. Not yet. So at that time I was redoing my house, and I went to my carpenter who built my custom sofa. I got a couple of cool fabric. So you got, you know, on the wedding, like when the groom wears dark blue, he usually match up his necktie with silver color. So that's what I want, the vibe. That's the vibe on a Mercedes. So dark blue leather, black shrimp, and black console, black parts, whatever, and accented with silver or dark gray. So on the side of the door, I find this material that looks really cool. It looks like some kind of material inside of a suit and vinyl at the same time. Match it up with a stitching that I found from Japan. This is the stitching I got from my Lexus, but I have a dark blue one. They are called Olympus. They're made in Japan. I'll write the information down below. The dark blue matched with gray. On the roof line, I got this kind of like velvet, almost like material that I have on the same thing as my sofa, but it's a lighter silver. The reason having that is because I wanted to feel more airy, more breezy, because everything else in the car is dark already, and that just brings the car up to the whole entire, like, you feel the pimpicity when you get in the car. Just feels amazing, guys. As for the sound, we'll talk about it in the next video because the sound system is a whole other topic of its own. But that's that for my Mercedes list of interior, exterior restoration, modification of the car. Hopefully this will help you if you guys looking into buy a car. Buy W124, man. It is worth it. If you have it already, I hope these modification lists plus the safety list that I've changed on the car will help you guys into making the next purchase or the next decision for your car and inspire some of you to do the same, if not better. If you guys like this video, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace and love.
Yeah, welcome to my kingdom. สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับยินดีต้อนรับทุกท่าน to paradise. Welcome to the land of smile. MVP อย่าง king of the mic, king of the hype representing Thai. Welcome to the land of joy and smile. Say goodbye 95, say hello good life. อยากจะไปเที่ยวไหนเดี๋ยวพี่จัดให้